Hey everybody, it's Jaime Pfeffer back with you again for another pick a card reading. And in this pick a card, we are looking at one of your relationships. And what we're looking at is, should you stay or should you walk away? If you are interested in finding out more about your relationship, you are definitely going to want to stick around for this reading. Okay, so for those of you that are new to pick a card readings, it's very simple. All you need to do is look at the image in front of you and the 3 stacks of cards. And as you can see, you will have stack A on the left, stack B in the center, and stack C on the right. And what you want to do is you want to look for anything about the cards that's sticking out to you, calling to you in any way, pulling you, and it's completely fine to pick more than one stack if you are feeling that way. Once you have your stack chosen, you can go down below the video. There is something called the description box, which is below the video, and you will see that I have some timestamps listed, and that's where I list the time of the video that stack A starts and stack B and stack C. That way you can jump right ahead to your stack and you don't have to watch the whole thing through unless you want to, and that's completely fine too. Alrighty, that is it for now. Choose your stack and then I will see you on the other side. Thanks, bye. Hi stack A. For anyone that picked stack A, this is your reading, and unlike a lot of my other readings, I did not do crystals today. So we are looking at your relationship, any relationship that you have, and is it best for you to stay or is it best for you to walk away? Also, before we jump into the reading, I do want to ask, if you are not a subscriber to my channel yet and you do enjoy receiving or watching these free readings, please go down below and click on the red subscribe button, and then also there's a wiggly bell right next to that. When you click on the bell, you will be notified anytime I put out one of these free readings, and YouTube is always the first place that these readings go live. It's often 2 to 4 days before they go live anywhere else. All right, so now that we got that out of the way, we are going to start looking at your situation with the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot, which is one of my very favorite tarot decks. So the first thing that we're going to do, okay, so we're looking at the current energy that you are in. And so the card that you got is the Page of Wands. And so upright, this, well, either way, this usually indicates somebody who is in a younger energy. It can be a little bit more of an immature energy, but I'm not necessarily getting that with this today. We have the wand right here, which signifies career or something that you're passionate about. It also can signify divine guidance or divine inspiration. So because it's in reverse, it can actually indicate that you are at a new beginning, which I was really feeling when I held this up, because this is actually the Fool card in Tarot, and Fool represents somebody who's on a brand new beginning. So I was really feeling that. Also, it's very interesting. I just happened to look down at my shirt and I see the Peanuts characters are all walking, and it kind of looks like they're all kind of walking, like they're going to be walking toward the card, right? So it seems to me that there's some kind of new idea that has come in your life. And I feel like this might have to do with money too, even though this is about a relationship. This could be a business partnership maybe. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship. You aren't really sure what action to take about this situation yet. So it's so new that you aren't really sure where to go. And you might even be feeling a little bit scared about that. But the good thing is you've got these little cast of characters right here below you. And it's just, I'm really feeling like it's important that you know that you're not alone right now, okay? Even though you might feel very alone, you may have actually already left something, or you might have kind of checked out energetically, but you haven't pulled the trigger of saying I'm leaving yet, but your energy is already in this new beginning. So this will be really interesting to see what else we get about this, I also have to say there's a lot of orange and a lot of yellow in this card, okay? And orange and yellow are about the sacral chakra, navel chakra, which pertains to your emotions, your feelings. It can have to do with manifesting. It has to do with creativity, but creativity in the sense of, everything is created, not just in artistic creativity. And then the solar plexus is about self-esteem and confidence and standing in your power, okay? So if you are thinking about leaving something and you're not sure if you should or not, I'm getting the indication that you've kind of already pulled out of that situation, or maybe you didn't actually walk away from anything yet, but you've shifted the energetic imprint that you are carrying in this situation. So let's see what else we got. And so the next cards I picked are from Doreen Virtue's Romance Angels, and I don't even think these are available for sale anymore. So, like I said, finances and career. Actually, I don't know if I said it, but I definitely was thinking it. I feel like this has to do with your finances and your career, right? You might be really not feeling happy about where you are with your career. You may be, like I said earlier, you may be already out even though you haven't physically left the situation yet. And so this says financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. Well, this could be affecting your love life. I'm really, though, yeah, I mean, definitely could. Maybe you and your significant other are, maybe they think that you need to go and you have kind of been dragging your feet. I'm really not sure. It's going to be different for everybody, and there are like hundreds of people that watch these videos. So if you do want a very specific reading that is for your circumstance and your energy only, you can go down below and book a private reading with me, which my private readings are very similar to these videos, except they're not a pick a card. They're just straight up speaking to your situation or your question. Wow, okay, so your next card is wedding. Wow, that's very interesting. So I would be curious to find out, if we just looked at the cards at face value, this could be a situation where you were having some difficulties in your career and thinking about leaving, and it might be affecting your love life, or you might be planning a wedding at the same time, right? The wedding, though, can also be, it does say the situation involves marriage. The wedding, though, could also be a partnership, and it could be a partnership with one other person where you're both like equally partners, or it could also be, what I'm getting is, it could be with like a soulmate. And so when I say soulmate, a lot of people used to think like we only had one soulmate and all this. For the purpose of this reading, and when it's coming from me, we have many soulmates that go with us in many different lifetimes, okay? So your soulmate could be like your mother, and then we get reincarnated, and then this soulmate who is a member of your soul tribe, they could actually reincarnate as your child or as an uncle or something. Well, not an uncle, but something like that, okay? And we spend many lifetimes with these soulmates, and oftentimes they're either really tremendously amazing for us, they're super supportive, but they can also be people that really help us grow, so they can be challenging to us as well. So you got wedding, you're gonna have to see how it sits with you. I mean, you could already be married. Like I said, it's not gonna be totally specific for everybody, but the thing that I am really drawn to on this card is that she looks very pure and very innocent to me. She's got, obviously the white dress on, and then she's got this bouquet of white roses. So white roses are really about purification and purity, okay? He does have a white glove on, and then he's got this on too. So the fact that he's got this white glove on, I don't know, he doesn't feel like he's an evil person or like he's bad for you. I am noticing though, do you see her like looking up at him? So she seems to be taking cues of what to do next from him. Okay, so I don't know if this fits your situation or not, but you'll have to see. Okay, great. And your next card is keep an open mind. So you may need to keep an open mind with the kind of crazy explanation that I just gave, because it's definitely not going to fit for everybody. And you might be thinking, like, I thought she was a psychic and she should know every little situation of everything. So to that, I will say that I hear you, and that isn't the way that it works all the time. I would be doing like hours and hours of readings instead of just this one reading. You're being asked to keep an open mind in this situation and even with this reading. And then it says your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectation. So if this is about a career, it's going to be okay. And who you may end up partnering up with or joining their firm or becoming an employee or employer may be different than the people that you have in your past. Okay? So that's what we have there. Next, I'm looking at the Whispers of Healing Oracle cards that are by Angela Hartfield. These are really, really beautiful cards. So as you can see, we've got this woman here and she is gazing right at this butterfly, which is about transformation. I really like that as a confirmation because we had the other card that, where is it? Oh, here it is. We had the other card where she was really looking up, okay? So that's a cool confirmation. And so the card that came out for you was number 50, Boundaries. So again, you're going to have to see where this resonates for you, but I just noticed too, she here is really gazing down at this peacock. I think it's a peacock. Yes. And the peacock is holding, looks like a gold pocket watch. Okay. So it's about something about timing. It could have to do with divine timing. So if you've been waiting for this soulmate to be available, or it might even be about protecting your own time. I really feel, I mean, it's very interesting that all of these cards have had these some of these cards have had this gazing of the woman. And so there is a castle in the background of this card. It's hidden, but my eye was drawn to it. So castles for me symbolize success. And that is actually a symbol that my grandmother gives me to symbolize success. So that's beautiful. And she's got, or the peacock, so that's a very vibrant bird. And that's kind of what I got here. She was kind of looking at him because he's the one that's got a lot of the power. Okay, so he may be a more flamboyant, that's almost too strong of a word, but he is the more, I want to say, outspoken of the two, or the more confident, really. And I had talked about the solar plexus. So the solar plexus is also about confidence. Anyways, in any event, whatever it is, you are being advised to have boundaries. So this could be boundaries about your time. This could be about having boundaries that you haven't had in past relationships that it's ended up hurting you. So now you know, I need to have these boundaries. I also feel like I want to look at the book for a second and see if there's anything there. Okay, so it says strong boundaries are necessary for you now. Decide what you do and don't want in your life. In regards to your healing, this is more practical than you might realize. If others are interfering with your well-being or impinging on your ability to care for yourself, take notice and make the needed changes. Imagine digging a moat or creating an impermeable border around your body, your home, or your workspace to create the space that you need. You have gone through a tremendous period where many aspects of your life have been altered. It is imperative to honor your limitations and acknowledge that you need to take better care of yourself. People might mean well, but miss the cues when you aren't up for long visits or extensive phone calls. You don't need to make excuses. Let others know you are making changes to better support your energy and healing. A woman holding a peacock stands next to a distinctive boundary. Ooh, that's interesting. Notice the maidens on the other side of this boundary. The presence of the maidens may signify the level of commitment you have toward your new resolve in your self-care. Wisteria is draped around the background. Wisteria represents a time of learning. It is imperative to put yourself first. Your true friends and family will respect the boundaries you put in place. So, after reading that, and I'm so glad I did, I really feel, oh wow, okay, so I just looked at your last card, and so that came from Stacy DeMarco's Goddesses and Sirens cards. And I'll put links for all of the cards if any of you guys want to buy them. I'll put them in the description box below. But your card there was Hera, and as you can see, the theme of this card is commitment. So this is about committing to yourself. I was thinking about it, and the marriage card may actually be, you could be in a marriage, okay, where something's not working, it's not gelling, okay? If that's the case, what is occurring for you is you need to stand up for yourself. You need to put yourself first. You need to put space between you and your partner. But it could also mean you need to have boundaries and you need to make a commitment to yourself, okay? It could also mean that you are going to be going into a marriage or a commitment with you, okay? So if I pointed at myself, with you. And so if it's about your career, right? The way that you can make a commitment to yourself is by having boundaries. If you're in a situation that isn't safe for you, and it isn't always easy to be able to put our finger on that. I feel like there's a lot of information and people out there that talk about, you know, needing to be tolerant and needing to be so forgiving. And, you know, forgiveness is great because then it's getting rid of the poison that you have drank that the other person doesn't even realize that they've given to you. But it doesn't mean that you stay in the situation. It doesn't mean you stay in an unhealthy situation, okay? And so this could be about a marriage with yourself, right? And your inner children, right? Or your higher self, or whatever it is. So I'm really glad that that Hera card came out. And then lastly, I pulled a card from the Making Magic deck. I love this deck. It's just got a lighter energy, a magical energy, of course, and it's so small. I love it. And the card that I got was Self-Confidence. So I talked about confidence earlier with this Page of Wands that was in the reverse. I talked about the solar plexus, and that's where the confidence is and the power is, okay? So you may have been someone who gave your power away. I mean, like I said, she's looking to him. She is looking to him, and I don't know, she just seems so pure, right? And he's kind of like this staunch, like, you know, again, you're going to have to apply it to your own situation because I don't know what your situation is, and there's a lot of different situations. But yeah, self-confidence is really important here. Strong self-belief and a sense of worth. And the more that you allow yourself to have boundaries, the more that you respect yourself, the more that you put yourself first, the stronger your self-confidence is going to get. And the more that you get away from people or situations where you are demeaned, where you are oppressed, where you feel really bad in your body, especially if you are an empath or a highly sensitive person, like our bodies tell us something isn't right here, okay? And I'm definitely not saying that everybody needs to walk away from this person in their life, but basically we can't control what other people do. So, I mean, I was in a marriage at one point where I couldn't take it anymore. Like, there were so many things going on that went against myself as a person, okay? And so I had to finally get to a place where I said to my husband, I can't live with these things anymore. And I mean, that was one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my entire life. The last thing I wanted to do was break up a family, okay? But there were things that had gone on for so long that hurt me so much inside that I tried to, you know, let go by, that I tried to, you know, give him the benefit of the doubt on, and I just couldn't do it with certain things. And the reason is that my authentic self doesn't feel good. It didn't feel good with those things, okay? I tried to get him to work with me with certain things, and for a long time, he really didn't want to do the work, okay? And I was ready to walk. I got to the place where I was ready to walk, and he finally decided to make the choice to try to change, okay? And I can say today, we are still married. We've been married for almost 15 years, and he is my best friend, okay? It wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have spoken up. I don't even know where we would be today. I would be probably miserable because I would be denying my true self, okay? I know that this is not an easy thing to do. And also I want to say that I've had to do this with other people in my life, people who I was extremely close to. And unfortunately, those people chose not to change. They couldn't bring themselves to try to work with me on certain things. They didn't want to put any effort forward. They didn't want to change, okay? And I'll say these were the number 2 and number 3 most important people in my life. And they're not in my life anymore, okay? I cannot have people in my life that I feel unsafe around, and I'm highly sensitive. So it's like my threshold for safety is, different than the majority of people. And it was heartbreaking, okay? It's been like a year and a half, but I can't have them in my life. And I know that I can't have them in my life unless some type of change is made, some type of mutual change. Well, some type of effort on their part. And so I had to go through the grieving process of those relationships, and I'm now on the other side where I'm okay and I'm moving forward with my life without those people in it. And that's just because I had to do that. I have now gotten to a place where I value myself and my own protection and my own safety more than anybody else in my life, okay? And that's what you're being asked to do as well. I did get one more card for you, and it's very interesting. There's a Star of David on this card, so I'm curious if any of you are Israeli or Jewish. And also, it talks about the festival. So it talks about creating an energetic blueprint for a fantastic party or event. Well, this is so interesting because I was talking to my therapist earlier today, and she actually talked to me about, I was talking to her about a celebration. I had gotten some guidance about a celebration coming and a new beginning coming. And she said to me, your celebration is the fact that you have now completely come home to yourself, to all parts of yourself, all of your inner children. You've called all of them home by making their safety and your own safety your number one priority. So I love that this came up. And you may want to think about doing the same thing. You may want to think about celebrating. It's so hard to walk away and to do new things, but it takes a lot of courage. It really does. But if you are someone who is going to choose to walk away from the situation, throw a party for yourself. Do something to celebrate yourself. And so this talks about, this card creates this energetic blueprint for a fantastic party or event. So you don't even really need to do anything about the energy. You've got the card already. You've got the magic with you, okay? I mean, you could just close your eyes and say, angels or whoever it is, please show me what to do for myself, or please give me ideas of things that would really honor me and help me to celebrate myself. So that is all I have for your reading, Stack A. I'm very curious to hear if this resonates with you. If you do have a moment, I would love it if you leave me a comment. I know that, you can't do it every time, and sometimes you're busy and you just hear the reading, but if you have a chance, go down below and leave me a comment. And if you happen to know anybody who might benefit from these readings, please share the reading with whomever, okay? I'll talk to you again soon. Bye. Hey, everybody that chose Stack B. And if you chose Stack B, this is your reading. And what we are looking at is, we're looking at one of your relationships, whichever one is in your head when I'm talking, or even right now. It could apply to multiple relationships in your life. If it comes in your head and you have the thought, it's probably spot on. Usually the first thing that we think of are the first person, okay? So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna look at a card from the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot. And so that's gonna give us an idea of where you're at. So your card is the Three of Cups. So this is, this card shows three friends. They've got their cups in the air. They're giving each other a nice cheers. They're enjoying themselves. And I'm really drawn to this pumpkin on the ground. So you may have had something with your friends occur in October. Or the fall, because I'm really feeling, yeah, this pumpkin down here. I'm also seeing, I don't know if they're peaches or oranges. So one of your friends might live in Georgia or one might live in Florida. The other thing about this card, I think the three of you are very different. You can tell because there's a red cape and a yellow cape and then a white cape. Although hers is yellow and white. So two of you might have more in common than the third, okay? There's probably one of you that's very grounded. That would be the red. There's one of you that's very pure. The other thing about this card is that in certain circumstances, it can indicate a little bit of an issue with the drink, the bottle, okay? So just keep that in mind. It really is going to be different for everybody that's watching. I get the feeling that there's several different groups of people. I know that was the case for stack A. So you're going to have to take the information and really put it to your situation, okay? And if something feels totally off, then just leave it because it really isn't meant for you. The best way to get the most accurate information for your individual situation is to book a private reading with me. So you can do that down below. There is a link pretty far right away on the top of how to book a reading with me. I offer 30 and 60-minute readings, and they're very similar to these videos, except they're not done with a pick a card. It's actually just all cards and intuition that's coming from me for you. With the collective audience, it's a lot of different energies that I'm dealing with, okay? With an individual, I can usually hone right in, and it's like one hit after another, one sign after another, synchronicity. So anyways, you'll have to see. I have a feeling that this is either about a threesome, 3 people together, or a friendship, but let's see where it goes. So next, I'm looking at the Romance Angel Oracle cards. And so your first 2 cards out were Retreat and Let Go of Control Issues, and those were both in the reverse, okay? So I'm getting the feeling that you have let go of any type of controlling energy. And I also feel like you have retreated, and it's not a time for you to retreat right now. And then the next card I got was, I actually pulled from these gorgeous cards by Stacy DeMarco. These are the Goddesses and Sirens cards. And so your card is Lakshmi, prosperity, but that was also in the reverse. So that is that card. So you may be in a position where you are not feeling prosperous, or prosperity has not been entering your life, okay? All right, so the last card that I picked for you is Grateful. And these cards are from the Whispers of Healing guidebook. Wow, so that's a match. That's the front cover of the book, and that is the card that you chose. So it's number 47, which comes down to an 11. So 11 is a master number. You could also break 11, well, not really break it down, but 1 + 1 = 2. So there's something having to do with a threesome here and 2, okay? Yeah, and actually 11 reminds me of like the 1111 card, which is the 4 of Wands, and that is like a super happy couple. So that isn't what I'm getting here. I'm getting that there's a third party, or like a third wheel, that is causing problems. And let go of control issues, I feel like you actually may need to speak up. Let's look at what it says about the Grateful card. All right. When faced with crisis, stress, a busy schedule, or other issues, you may lose your ability to slow down and appreciate the beauty of life. You may be focusing on what you don't have rather than what you do have. Okay, so I'm actually feeling now that this could just be 3 friends, and you may have 2 great friends, and you want something more. Not with them, but you want romance, and you don't have romance right now, okay? Or it could also be about prosperity. It could be about your relationship with money. It feels like you want something more. Like, it's great to have these friends, but I really want this romance of a lifetime, okay? Again, fit it to your own situation, because it is going to be different for, there's just hundreds of people that are watching these. So, the other thing is, you see her looking at this butterfly, okay? There's also another butterfly down here. Butterflies are about transformation, but you see her really staring at this butterfly. So this is about being mindful, and gratitude is about being mindful of what you have right now, okay? Instead of focusing on what's lacking in your life. So she's just captivated by this butterfly here. It's just beauty. So one thing that you can do if you're interested in, what can I do to get out of this energy of wanting, right? Because when we really deeply want something, and we're coming from when it's triggering us, right? If we're having like an emotional reaction, I mean, I know for me, a couple weeks ago, I was having a trigger of something from my childhood, and I was like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, I know what's happening, but I still feel so terrible inside, right? Like, I just wanted to be able to move out of that energy, because like, logically, I knew that what was happening, the person didn't mean it to be mean to me or anything like that. It was like this little girl came out, right? So what they're saying is, if that happens to you, or you find yourself kind of down in the dumps or wishing you had something different, you can move into gratitude, and that will help you. Because if you stay in an energy of, I don't have this, life stinks or whatever, because of the law of attraction, you're going to continue attracting that energy. The universe doesn't make a judgment about the emotions that you're emitting. It just feels those emotions, and because it's the law of attraction, it just keeps giving you more of that same emotion, okay? I know that can be really difficult to hear, especially if you are in a position where you're like, this sucks, I just want to move out of this, or, like you're in a funk or anything like that. Okay, so then it talks about commit to offering a daily prayer of gratitude for all the good things in your life. When you're dealing with a situation, you may start to take your support team for granted. Oh, that's interesting. Remember that the people in your life are there for a reason. They may be here to help you learn specific lessons. They may be learning something from you. The benefit that comes from valuing the people who touch your life cannot be expressed strongly enough. When you forget to be thankful for the things others do for you, you move away from your true spiritual essence. Stop and analyze your life and the people in it. Appreciate the accomplishments of the last year. Recognize what is important in your life, and remember to be grateful for it. So I really feel like that message is a little bit harsh, and it's definitely not a message that someone wants to hear when they're feeling less than, or like they're not complete, okay? It's kind of shaming. It comes across as kind of shaming to me, like, you need to make sure that you're doing this. So I'm going to tell you that I can feel energy, and that's not the message that I want to give to you as guidance. What it is trying to say that I think fell a little bit short is that if you can look at your accomplishments over the last year, I think it's really about stepping back and being able to see the big picture, okay? So right now, you may be in a situation where you feel like your life is unsatisfactory, or you might be unhappy with different things that are going on in your life. And that's okay. It's totally okay to have the feelings and emotions that you have. Like, I know I've said that before. I'm just going to keep saying it because it's so important. And I know, at least I'm 41, I wasn't allowed to express my feelings. Like, it wasn't considered okay. It was almost considered like a problem, okay? So I learned to shame myself for having feelings, right? When feelings are actually our barometer for how we're doing, right? Or do we need to make a change, or anything like that. So if you can get to a place where you can detach a little bit from this situation, that's where you want to go. But oftentimes you have to go through the feelings to get there. So my guidance for you is, eventually, if you want to get to gratitude, that's great. I don't really like the idea of, you're taking these people for granted. This could involve these other two people, though. You may have these two great other people in your life who are supporting you through this time. And, when you're filled back up and you're feeling good, it's great to recognize other people and support other people. But for right now, I think just take it slow and have compassion for yourself, okay? Because it seems like you're experiencing something that's difficult. I don't want to leave it on this note. So I forgot. So I actually have this self-compassion deck. I love this. It's wonderful. And it's not a tarot or oracle card. It's just a deck of how to cultivate kindness and compassion for yourself and others. So let's see what we get out of this. I was going to use this and I didn't. So what do they need to know, or what kind of self-compassion will help them move forward? Wow. So this is the one card where I wrote my own self-compassion action exercise. And so here's what I said. Identify any self-defeating behaviors and let yourself free. So free yourself. Identify any self-defeating behavior. So anything you're doing that makes you inside feel defeated. Try to identify what those behaviors are. And if you can't, I can as a psychic. So you can book a reading if you are interested in that. But you want to try to identify the self-defeating behavior. So do you beat yourself up? Do you have, low self-esteem? Do you have negative self-talk? Do you believe that you're not good enough to attract whatever it is that you want in your life, right? Anything like that. And by identifying those, there's a lot of different things that you could do to set yourself free from them. You could burn the paper. Just becoming aware of the self-defeating behaviors is a step in the right direction for letting yourself free. So in terms of, that was a really roundabout way, but in terms of should you stay or should you walk away, there's a lot of different situations here, which is what I talked about. So if this is two friends that are helping you through a difficult time, you should definitely stay. But, you don't need to do anything that feels shaming for you, right? And it's okay for you to have a bad day. It's okay for you to have a bad week. It's okay. This is really all about having compassion for yourself. So what you need to do is stay with yourself, okay? Have as much compassion for yourself as you can. And I would suggest staying around people who are safe and who appreciate you and who love you, okay? If that isn't the case there, I would suggest that you walk away because you really need some love and tenderness. In terms of the self-defeating behaviors, you want to walk away from those. It's going to be a process, okay? Because you have to identify them and, we're not robots. We can't just push a button and have something be gone, unfortunately. But you can do it. You definitely can do it. I know that for sure. So that is it for your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a little bit scrambled, but there are a lot of people watching. So I will talk to you again very soon. Bye. Hey, Stack C. I'm so grateful you're here and very happy to do this reading for you. So today we are looking at one or more relationships of yours and should you stay or should you walk away? So we're going to start with a card from the Rider-Waite Tarot. And so your card from the Radiant Rider-Waite is the Knight of Pentacles, but he is in reverse. So upright, this is a knight who moves usually very slowly, but he does have this pentacle here, okay? And knights are often messengers. So in the case of this one, he would be bringing a pentacle, which is something having to do with something material. So money, food, clothing, shelter, that kind of thing. When this knight is in reverse, it actually can mean one thing or it can mean the opposite. So one of the things that it can mean is it can mean that you are in need of some kind of a routine in your life. So whether it's around food, whether it's around money, like your spending. You may need a budget. It could be, a healthy eating plan or an exercise plan or some kind of structure that's going to keep you consistent. Okay. The other thing that it can mean though is almost like the opposite. So you're going to have to apply it to yourself in your own situation. And unfortunately, all of the readings today have been that way. I feel like I'm getting energy from a lot of different people. I'm getting a lot of different circumstances, okay? And I can't possibly myself hit on every point for every single person in their circumstance. But what you can do if you are confused is you can book a private reading with me. There's a link below. And in the private reading, I will just be focusing on your energy, and the entire reading will be about you, okay? Anyways, the reverse Knight of Pentacles can also mean the opposite, which is, you might have become bored of the routine that you're doing. You might need to shake things up. You might need a new adventure. You could also be kind of walking the line of perfectionism, okay? So again, you're going to have to figure out where it fits with you. Wow, this is great. The next card is from the Romance Angel Oracle deck, which I don't believe is available anymore. But this talks about codependency, but it is in the reverse. So this is fantastic. This tells me that you have recently put a stop to some type of codependent behaviors that were going on in your life. So that is amazing. I am a recovering codependent myself. I know exactly what it's like. So it's awesome. And I know that it can really be old habits and patterns that are very hard to break because we often learn them at a very young age. Okay. So that's great. I'm really feeling like with this card now coming on, if you have left a situation or you just have started something new, it could even be in the same situation. I know for me, I didn't leave my husband, but I really unplugged from a lot of the old stuff that I was doing for a while. And I kind of became like a different person inside the relationship. Okay. So with that really speaks to me about someone that might need a new routine. Okay. Or you actually could feel fed up with the old routine and you left it. So you're not doing the codependent stuff anymore. So you need a new routine, right? So that's very cool. Okay, your next card is from the Goddesses and Sirens Oracle deck, and that is from Stacy DeMarco. These are awesome cards, very empowering. And so I will put a link to this below. And your card is, I'm going to butcher this name, but it's like Andromesh, I think. Andromash. And the card is Strength. Unfortunately, this came in reverse. So what I want to tell you is that you have a ton of strength. If you have stopped these codependent patterns and codependency is no longer affecting your love life, or you've really instituted some serious boundaries, you have a lot of strength. You could be very tired, okay? Especially if you've been like fighting with somebody about this, trying to get them to change, thinking that they would change. They've been making you promises and they haven't changed, okay? I want to see what else, but you may need to just tap back into your strength and power, okay? Yeah, I mean, if you look at this person, like this woman, she is not playing any games, okay? So, and one way that you can do that actually is you can try to meditate and reach your inner teenager. Your inner teenager has a lot of power, okay? And anger. You may have a lot of anger that needs to come out that you haven't been able to let out, or have been afraid to let out, but everything is going to be okay. I know that for sure. I was just drawn to my shirt again. And I mean, it's like, look at Snoopy. He's so happy. Like, you're going to get there. I know that for a fact. Okay, great. So your next cards are Replenish, which is so beautiful. And like I was saying, you could be feeling very tired. So it's time for you to really allow yourself to nourish yourself, nurture yourself. Yeah, you've been taking care of a lot of other people, and it's very interesting. Yeah, so Oh, there's a castle here too. So castles, I explained in one of the other stacks, those are assigned for me from my grandmother who's deceased. And those indicate success. So that's really positive for you. But you see her, she's laying down. This also looks like the ocean. So if you are near the ocean, make sure that you get out and even if you just put your feet in, it's so purifying. I mean, I live on the ocean, and that's why I moved here, because there's so many negative ions from the ocean, and it will just clear that old energy out, right? So maybe you just need to take a walk with yourself near the ocean a couple times a week. Like that could be a new routine or schedule that you do, something that you're doing on your own, okay? When we're codependent, we often become like so enmeshed with other people, particularly one other person. It's like we feel naked, or just we can feel really alone without that person, even though we know that person isn't good for us, okay? So having a schedule or routine is going to give you things to do so that you don't feel so alone, so that you don't feel so scared, because it's scary to go into a new beginning, to try something new, okay? Okay, your next card is forward movement, but that was actually in the reverse. So what I'm really getting for that is this is really a time out for you. It's time for you to replenish yourself. You don't need to speed ahead so quickly, okay? You don't need to take action right now. You know, with women, especially with our menstrual cycles, there are certain times of the month that it's a great idea to do certain things, and then there's certain times of the month that it's better to actually rest, okay? That's something that I'm even learning. And the moon, right? We can work with the cycles of the moon and even schedule our work if we work for ourselves, especially, or different rituals that we do at different times of the month, okay? What I'm really getting is that this is a time for you to just replenish, relax, and really just care for yourself. And then your next card is Answers Within. And so that card also came in upside down. So you see this little girl here, and she has this candle that she's looking at, okay? So I don't know, you're gonna have to put it to your situation. I don't know if you haven't been looking within, or something else that can happen, and I know because it happened to me for a very long time. I would look within, but I had so much codependency and trauma going on that I would blame myself for situations that really I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was actually being abused. But I would start trying to look within, and it was like I didn't want to fully admit that the people in these circumstances really didn't have my best interest at heart. So I spent a long time, probably 7 months of my life, with two particular people who were very important in my life, and trying to figure out, like, is it me? Is it them? Is it a combination? And I kept coming back to this, like, it must be a combination or it must be me. Well, then I learned that there's a lot of self-blame that happens, especially with codependency. And so instead of really facing the truth, because it was very painful for me, I would just blame myself, okay? So that is one possibility for this card. And again, like I've said in all the other stacks, I don't know why, but today I feel like I'm getting a lot of different scenarios that are coming at me. So I'm like kind of talking to a couple different situations. The other thing that this could mean is that it really isn't a time for you. It isn't time for you right now to be contemplating deeply and looking within and, you know, kind of like forcing certain information to come. Like I see this child, and this is like, take care of yourself like you would take care of this little child right here. And you wouldn't look to this little child to give you all the answers of everything that's going on in your life, right? I mean, you would just treat her with tenderness and kindness and love and nurturing, okay? So that's the other scenario that I'm getting. The last thing that and replenishing yourself like that, that's going to get you to a place where you are really, really strong. And so I'm very drawn to the back of these cards right now. And this is this yellow solar plexus strength. I mean, and this is metal here, okay? So you have this in you. You just are depleted right now. You've been fighting a long battle with someone, okay? And it's time for you to replenish yourself, just like anybody would. You know, your car runs out of gas, you got to put gas in it. Like, your energy, you've got to spend time giving to yourself, okay? So whether it's, you know, taking a nice bath, getting some crystals, listening to your favorite music, meditating. Well, I don't even want to say that. Meditating, but I'll say not to get answers, just to relax and restore yourself, okay? And lastly, I want to look at these Making Magic cards. Okay, there you go. This is perfect. Water. Work with the element of water for healing, purification, and refinement. So this could be, I mean, I talked about the ocean, right? So if you're not near the ocean, you can take a salt bath. You can get Epsom salts. You can get, I personally like to use the pink Himalayan salt. You can use that. I'll put a link for some of that below if you're interested. And use either half a cup or a cup, depending on how sensitive your skin is. Like for me, when I was taking a lot of salt baths, I would get really itchy, okay? So use a half a cup if you tend to get itchy or you have like reactions to stuff. And then also put in a half a cup of baking soda. That like really kind of like neutralizes things. Spend 30 or 40 minutes in the bathtub. Like, baths are scientifically proven to have positive benefits for your mental, emotional, and physical health, okay? So that's it. The other thing is drinking water, right? You can even bless your water before you drink it. You can put a blessing of healing in your water, a blessing of strength on your water. If you aren't near an ocean, but you have a pool, you can go swimming, and you know, there's a lot of different things. Two other cards flipped off. So the first one was self-confidence, and this really goes with the back of the yellow card that I just talked about, which I don't know where it is right now. And they had this in one of the other stacks. I think it was stack A. So these go together, the self-confidence. And so this is talking about strong self-belief and a sense of worth, okay? You may be kind of like in this in-between stage yet where you had enough courage to walk away from this codependent situation, but it's so new to you, okay? It's very new, and that's completely normal. I will tell you right now, you can do it. And I know that because I've done it, and I'm standing here a living testament. I did it. I was in a really toxic marriage, and not only did I walk away, I now have an amazing partner who chose to change with me. I've also done it in other scenarios with family members who haven't chosen to change, and they're not a part of my life anymore. And I am standing here telling you that the pain will end. I promise you, it will end. And even though it's so difficult when you're in it, eventually you can learn how to take care of yourself, and you can learn how to be really good to yourself, and then you will start calling in all of these healthy people into your life, and it's amazing, and I know that you can do it. And then the last card that flipped for you was the star. The silver energy of the star brings good luck and serendipity. And so you are a star right now. If you've walked away from codependent behaviors, you're a star. That's what you are, because that is how hard it is to do. So that is the end of your reading. I really appreciate you being here. If you have a moment and you would like to, please go down below and leave me a comment. It's always nice to hear from you, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye.